Hey everyone, it's the RCP crew here to bring you our discussion slash review of Netflix's original anime series, Yasuke. But first, make sure you hit that sub button to subscribe to the channel for more. Leave a like and a comment down below. Any engagement is much appreciated. So, gentlemen, your first impressions on Yasuke.
Um, well, the only thing I can say is he's black. And like after looking at the anime, it is true, he is black. They portray him as a black man. And not only is he a black man, he's a black man with dreads. So all the stereotypes are there. He's black, black samurai, because he's got black skin and dreads. Impressed, very impressed.
Well, to anybody who's not informed, Yasuke is a Netflix original anime produced by Mappa Studios, famous Japanese animation company in Japan. Yasuke is the story of a black samurai who originally was a slave and upon setting foot in Japan is set free and comes under the service of Oda Nobunaga. This character is actually based on the real life historical tale of a black samurai of the same name during Japan's Sengoku period. And I like that they put some of that historical tale in this. What did you guys think of it?
I do like that they showed that he's a confident leader, a little bit what's what I'm looking for here, erratic at times, but he does get shit done. And multiple as equally they showed that he's great at being a leader, he showed he's out of his goddamn mind. In a good way.
Yeah,
Saying he's far from perfect, but he gets things done.
I actually liked it. I really liked it. I'm actually just disappointed the fact that we didn't get to see more of his actual origin from aside from those flashbacks. His I would have loved to see more of his time with Oda Nobunaga, and that's just not my own personal that's my own personal opinion, but it seems like it's resonating a lot because truth be told, from what I'm seeing out in the Ethernet and the actual anime fan base, not many people like this show, which actually surprised me because it's made by a very talented studio, and I didn't think the story was bad. I mean, I have my little problems with it, but overall, I think it was great.
Look, all I'll say about it is like as far as like what people were expecting, like I think they heard there's going to be an anime about a black samurai, and so they were thinking it was going to be all historical. So they didn't expect like there to be a telekinetic little girl. They didn't expect there to be like giant monsters and mechs and demons and sentient robots running around. They didn't expect that. They expected like a story about the first black samurai or like one of the known black samurai. But from an anime standpoint, right? I respect what the studio did, where they went ahead and gave it like a true fantasy adventure anime like storyline. Because when you look at the animes that are made about like the other famous Japanese warriors and samurais, they're fighting demons and shit, and it's like over the top animated battles. So like for Yasuke and Black Samurai, they were like, you know what? Instead of making them stand out, giving them historical treatment, they like put them in the same like sphere that they put all of their other samurai stories. These motherfuckers is fighting monsters, or they're in like a high school setting, and some other shit's got to happen. Like they treated him like they treated all of their other samurai. So I respect that.
I
Like he
mean,
got a samurai anime, and it was like a true samurai anime, like all the other samurai anime. So like maybe they'll do another one where it's historical. Maybe he'll get like a bunch more stories. Maybe he'll get like the same treatments because like if you look at animes, how many animes are about Odin or no? Is it Odin Nobunaga? Fucking what's the other one? I can't think of any of the other like samurai clans, but like they have stories about the same leaders over and over and over and over again, and like they're
uh,
all in different settings and different styles. And like this is just the first one about the first black samurai. They did a good job with it.
yeah,
Like I'm
but
Okay,
thinking it's just,
well,
go ahead.
being the I want to push back, being the devil's advocate for from at least what I've been seeing in the community, in the anime community. That's the problem. That's actually what people have said. They're using the same old tropes of throwing a historical character into a situation where there's demons, magic, mechs, all type of shit. It's like from my understanding, from what I've read, what I've seen, people are tired of that shit. Like it's the same old trope, and I respect that. I agree with you that I respect that they put them in the same category that they do all their other historical leaders. But at the same time, that's what people are upset. Like they wanted to see the actual historical story of Yasuke, and I kind of understand why they feel that way, because if you go back and you look at the trailer, if you look at the trailer, it's kind of misleading. It really didn't give off a vibe of they had all that other extra shit in it. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay,
the
go ahead.
the MacGuffin of the story pretty much was the little girl. You know what I'm saying? She acted as the MacGuffin of the story instead of actually focusing on Yasuke. We only got to learn of Yasuke through his flashbacks of his of his earlier life, and a lot the from my understanding is the main consensus is people would have loved to see that Yasuke from the moment he stepped foot in Japan to the moment he went under servitude under Oda Nobunaga, and his journey from there. People wanted to see more of that Yasuke as opposed to 20 years later, washed up old black samurai dude, boatsman, and getting involved with this little girl that he at first really wants nothing to do with, but it is what it is. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh,
Are you
hold
finished?
on.
Yeah,
One
go
thing
ahead,
I want
Zay.
to point out real quick. Hold on. There's one thing I want to point out real quick. You just made me realize the little girl and like the whole boat thing. That's Yasuke's white girl in an elevator moment.
Stupid.
Oh no.
Tell me that
Stupid.
it's not. Tell me that it's not.
Okay. I'm gonna look at it like this. I know the person that did this, as far as not the animation studio, but the director and producer, was the same person that did Cannon Busters. Cannon Busters was a 12 episode anime on Netflix. From what I understand, Yasuke's story is kind of spotty. We know certain details, but we don't know a whole lot. There's not like a diary that was found that has his
Well,
life up.
absolutely. I mean,
So with
there's a
that
lot
being
of
said,
historical figures like that.
right?
Go
But
on.
so with that being said, it's like, okay, you can't really sit here and be like, oh, I wanted to know his history. If he was an African in a country that hated him previously, that because he was a slave, I'm glad they didn't go that route, because I see that enough in today's time with different slave movies, slave series, and it's like, bruh, I'm getting tired of that. Because all it would have been pretty much was him progressing in the ranks, fighting people that didn't really approve of him. And we already got that with 2 different episodes.
Oh,
And I didn't want
Yeah,
to see an entire series of that.
through a
Go ahead,
flashback.
Greg.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you're making a good point. It's like the same point. One of my favorite comics, Roy Wood Jr. He does a joke about being the first black anything, and like it's always the same movie. The first black swimming team. There's like people telling him, "Get on the pool," shit like that.
Right.
First black basketball team, first black baseball team. There, whenever it's the first black whatever, puts it into the same type of movie. It's a bunch of white people that don't want them doing it. They face like a shit ton of racism and blockage, and then like they still succeed at the end. Like, I get what you're saying, Zero. That shit it fits perfect.
No. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree with you, but I'm just bringing to light from what I've seen from the anime community as a whole. It's like I don't have a problem with the story. I don't have the problem with the story at all. It's just from what I'm seeing, people are tired of the same old tropes as opposed to the actual story. Like, okay, more people would have liked to see Yasuke, his background, whatever, da da da. And I understand what Zero's saying. It's like that for most historical figures. We really don't know the full story because obviously we weren't there, and many things may not have survived. But as far as the story with the little girl and the abilities go, that's cool. But then you got like giant mechs, zombie armies, different shit going on, which I found to be absolutely awesome. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
a lot of people are just complaining is, oh, it's the same old tropes. Me personally, my only gripe with the show, I think it was too fucking short. I, I,
I
I
think
need
that's everybody.
I needed at least 12, 13 episodes. Although it was short and sweet and satisfying, I wanted more. You know what I'm saying? At least the episodes weren't an hour long, so that's why they were like 30 minutes long, so that would have been perfect for at least a 10 to 12 episode series run, in my personal opinion. But if they were an hour long, I would have understand why it was only like 6 episodes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right.
What
Well, we
about y'all?
also. Well, I was about to say I was okay with the length because I'm holding on to the idea that like we can still get a second season.
I agree. We can still get a second or third season because the character has been established. What people were looking for, the kind of historical part, it didn't make too much sense to me because it was like, again, me and Lou both said this. This reminds me of Onimusha, except it was portrayed as Nobunaga because his portrayal. Some people say is good and bad. I like the transparency where he has his good points. He was very progressive. He has some bad points because he killed women, men, and children, which some people do. But the short stick of it is it left it open at the end to where they go in any direction. They could give us backstory now in the second season on why the world is this way. People, because people feel like, well, if this happened in feudal time, this could be a parallel universe for all we know. And they had steam punk technology here, and here instead of dealing with coal, so they were able to progress faster. The world and the story is, at the end of the day, can be really blown out and fleshed out.
I happen to agree. Um, the As far as the story is concerned, yeah, this particular incident is over. It's closed. It's come to a close. The situation with the little girl has been solved, and like you said, they did leave it kind of open ended where they could continue his story or his journey on his new journey. You know, reinvigorating his fighting spirit and what he may do on in the future. And I hope they do. You know, but as far as the story is concerned, I didn't have a problem with it. The animation itself was dope. I love a lot of the animation. Um, there were some parts personally where I think could have been done better, but for the most part, I enjoyed every moment of that show. Oh, and the music, bro. What y'all think about the music in the show? I think it was just fantastic. That opening was cold, bro. That shit was
Yeah,
cold.
so like the opening song by Flying Lotus, my boy War Bandit, he was the one that put me onto that band at first. Like I've been listening to them for a while and just seeing them have that opening song, and I was like, yo, yeah, this is their style of music. When did they get this? I've not heard anything from Spotify. These bastards been holding out.
Yeah, that opening was cold, man. That shit was hard. I like that. Uh,
Look,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, there is one thing I do want to say. We have to be thankful for this style of show for Yasuke because like what was the one thing we got from it? A lot of people weren't actively predicting. Yasuke is going to be in the next Samurai Warriors. Like with the established story, he
Coincidence?
could have some crazy abilities in there.
Maybe if he does become a playable character in that game. But enough of that. We're talking about Yasuke. Uh, I my hope is that they do improve because it was I believe it was produced by Mappa Studios, right? Yeah, by Mappa,
I believe so.
and they are brother, they are on fire with shit like they did very well so far with the final season of Attack on Titan. They're killing it with Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, they did God of High School extremely well for adapting a one of the first studios to adapt a web comic or webtoon, whatever, a manhwa, Korean manga, whatever you want to call it. So they got a good history too. They got a good pedigree. So that one of my favorite parts is a flashback though when Yasuke killed those Iga ninjas.
Hmm.
Oh my god, that when he cut them motherfuckers in half in a split second, that shit was dope. It was like, okay, you guys want to do shit the old way, let's do it. All right.
Oh God. Zero, you know why I'm laughing. Oh man. When I was looking at that part, I had some of the music from Boondocks just in my head while I was
Shut up, nigga. Shut up. I had to think about that for a second. I was like, is he really gonna go there today? It's too early, nigga. Too early.
Like my overall
skip over it, it'll be a mystery.
my overall view on Yasuke is just based off the trailer and the little synopsis. I expected more along the lines of how some of these stories go. Guys rolls into town, things go down. The one random person pops up, end up being the most competent person there. They would get his story from that point. So I was a bit surprised when they bring in, we got mechs, we got powers, we got all this craziness. Like, all right, and they at some point do go over, where the mechs came from. Like, okay, that explains how this came from. So what about those psychic powers? They could be a gift or a blessing. Okay, so where does this happen? Not important. You're joking, right? Nope, not important. Just know they're here and just keep going, keep going. On like that front, as far as the kind of disappointing, I would prefer if it did go do more historical stories and battles. Obviously not 100%, accurate, but I expect they would have went that route. But for the moment, I'm content. But as for the overall story, if we do get another season or two, hopefully, I expect them to expand upon his world just a little bit more. I do agree it did focus on him, going on an escort mission a little too long. Because that's the route they were going the entire time. I think it would have been off as a movie.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Sleepy. The whole series could have been just recut and compilated into like one whole movie. At least this particular incident, could have been done that way. But yeah, I agree. For the most part, I am very satisfied from what I've seen, and I'm hoping to see more. I hope they do put up another season or two, because you know how Netflix is. Ugh, can't rely on them for shit. But I'm hoping I'm hoping that they pursue another season, because I love this show. I know it. I'm not biased enough. I'm not naive enough to not think it doesn't have its issues, but I think it is definitely an entertaining watch. Shit, if you can suspend disbelief for all the other shit that's coming out, in like live action and other fucking animes and shit, other animations and shit like that, you could do it for this. So that's my final thought. Gray Zero, what's your final thoughts? Any thoughts?
No, I need people to be more patient. I know that we got great world building, but with series like this, the reception is important, because projects like this, that if you want to expand upon, you have to give it time. No studio is going to throw a whole bunch of money at something, depending on, especially Netflix. It's got to be something that's already proven. So I was thinking, listening to one of the guys that I follow on YouTube, King of Lightning, and he was going in depth on the gentleman that does Yu Yu Hakusho and also Hunter x Hunter, and the world building there and how that is. And so if the show is received well, if people want more, that type of world building can start. But you just got to give it time. That's my thought on it.
Gray, final thought.
Well, I really just like the show. It did an excellent job for like what they were given. You made an excellent point when saying like we don't have like a diary or any like solid history on the character. But one thing I will say, I was very happy to see that the story about when Odin first received Yasuke and told him to wash him, and then asked like why was the man still dirty after they had washed him. It was like, oh, that's his skin. Like that is one known historical thing, and they still put it in there. So like they have a little bit of information. It might not be all that much, but they're working with what they have, and they're doing a good job with it. That's what I'll say. I'm not gonna
Okay.
pass judgment on like what they've done simply because like there isn't that much material on Yasuke, sadly. Wish there was, but that's how time works.
Okay. Okay. So overall, what's your feeling on it?
Out of 10, I'm giving it a 7.
I agree. I agree.
I agree with that as well.
7
out of 10.
7 out of, I tell you, one of my biggest problems. I want more. I'll give me more. God damn it! I was expecting at least 10 episodes.
At the moment, I agree with the 7, but I hope that we get more. That might maybe change my mind actually. Elevate it higher, hopefully.
So like I had a moment to think they were like about half-hour episodes, right? And we got 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have made that shit into a movie. Trim some fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
See.
All right. Well, 7 out of 10. That's our final rating for Yasuke, Netflix exclusive anime. But we want to hear from you guys out there. What did you think of Yasuke, Netflix's original anime series? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment below your thoughts. And with that, this is the RCP crew, and we are out. See you guys on the next one. Peace.